Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Follow from designer Ben Robbins and the publisher Lame Mage Games. To learn how we generate stories playing the game of Follow, go check out our Follow Rules Primer. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Oh, it's just me, Ken Breeze.
And Dalton Gray.
So far, previously on, we are the Vanguard. We're the initial setup team, Lightbearer-Alpha, of a colony, a generational colony ship sent for military objective purposes to help Earth take out another civilization.
Yep, rival space civilization.
We've landed on a planet where the intel didn't quite give us the scale of things. We knew it was a jungle planet. We didn't know it was a jungle planet of giants, of megafauna with tons of rich oxygen in the atmosphere to feed that megafauna.
Yeah, that's one of the big challenges for us. These huge creatures. We've so far run up against large mastodon-like creatures, large hybrid tiger, Komodo dragon, just the size of, think of old monster movies or new monster movies even.
Kaiju.
Like kaiju, basically, yes.
Yeah. Cool. So we also are dealing with some dissent and disagreement. There are a lot of disparate notions about how, even within this small group with our task of building this colony, of how this thing should be run. So far, we have successfully dealt with the dangerous wildlife when we were in the midst of treating a disease that's afflicting the entire colony. I'll go through characters so far. Kana is Toast, one of my characters, my minor character. But Hors Chow, the visionary planner, is still alive, though in quarantine. 56-year-old who wants to tame this land and build his shining colony base.
And perform a live autopsy.
I am playing as, for my main character, the indomitable Sharbanu, the free thinker. Sharbanu is a historian, sort of journalist, but really is sort of a radical, wanting to create a new society here on this planet that has not been developed at all, free of the norms of Terra where they came from. Sharbanu spinning some plots to try and make that into a reality and has not been infected with the disease, thankfully. My minor character, Milo Beans, sort of an engineer or construction guy. Milo Beans has been gene spliced with legumes to cure another disease that he had and to fortify his body with minerals. He wears overalls and he's sort of a plodding, sort of strong guy. Not very smart.
So my characters are Sibin Ucker, a pesky little 16-year-old youth. Something went wrong on the generation ship that plopped us on this terrifying planet, and Sibin came out as a much younger person than he ought to be, and he's pretty PO'd about it. Last episode, Sibin taunted a giant dragon monster, not infected with the disease. We haven't seen Sibin since the disease was revealed. My second character is Nils Gezen. Nils is a homesteader and genetic scientist, has some nefarious plots in the work, currently instigating the party to sacrifice Hors to one of the monsters in service of finding a cure.
So we're going to we're in our second challenge, and we have one scene left before we go to the draw. So, Dalton, you are up for setting up the last scene of this challenge.
This last scene is a couple hours after the thing that we just experienced. So we just had a scene with Nils and Sharbanu and Clem Yoshi, our biologist, where a plan was hatched to try and find a cure by sacrificing one of our colonists to a monster on the planet.
For science purposes.
For science.
For science.
For science. That plan has taken root. I think Nils and Sharbanu have started a little bit of like a revolt in the colony, kind of a headhunt against Hors. And it's maybe a couple hours later, and Sibin is delivering the meal to Horrors that will be effectively his last meal in quarantine. I think Sibin is sort of walking into the scene with Horrors. Perhaps Milo Beans is around, or maybe Rogers.
Or nobody. You could just have a 2 scene if you guys wanted to.
You just be Rogers ranting in the
I
back.
could. Yeah,
Can you
Rogers?
please be Rogers?
Yes, I can.
A refresher, Rogers is the character that is so far gone that Horrors wants to perform a live dissection on him. So Sibin is in an interesting place. Sibin has just performed perhaps the largest fuck-up of his short life. He got Kana killed by this like giant dragon monster and went through a whole thing, and now he's doing food delivery duty because he's been like revoked of his privileges of like being out and like being an official colonist. And now Horrors is about to be killed off. This is effectively Sibin's like hero. So Sibin is walking down a little hallway in the sort of like the colony main base, carrying a tray of food, sort of like lackadaisically, like walking. Maybe he sways a little bit to the left of the hallway and like sways a little bit to the right, and like kind of bumps into somebody. His mind is on something else. He's carrying a little nondescript tray with some goop on it. Reaches a sign that says Med Bay, and there's a big red button on the side next to it, and he slaps it, and the door slides open. Sibin comes inside, and there's a tarped-off wall where the quarantine sick are on the other side with the disease. You know, right away he sort of sees Horrors, and he kind of just stands inside the door for long enough for the airlock to seal behind him.
Horrors rolls up using his one good arm now, and rolls up in a mechanical or robot motorized wheelchair, right up to the edge of the tarp. Sibin, you've not gotten sick? I guess I would have seen you in here if you had gotten sick.
Burn these secrets!
Yeah.
Burn!
Oh, Rogers, he's on a tear right now.
Yeah, Horrors. I brought your food. Listen, I'm real sorry. I feel bad about the dragon. This is all my fault. Horrors.
Yes, there are things about this that are certainly your fault. But the dragon, the outcome at the end, why we were tracking it, all of that was not on you. Kana's death is not on you.
Water will scour your soul!
Rogers.
Yeah, but Horrors, so when you were up on the tree with us, you were talking about how, this could be good. The dragon could be good, but Nils is saying that it's only been bad. We can't use any of the meat. He's starting to burn the rest of the tallow that we have.
Nils is burning the tallow? Burning the resources?
Well, he thinks it's causing the disease.
He's jumping to conclusions. Why isn't Clementine in charge of this operation?
Well, she is. She's, came up with the idea to put you in one of those other monsters and try and get an antidote out of your mashed up guts.
Kill them all!
Hmm.
Kill them straight to the sky!
I mean, that makes sense. After, of course, a live dissection, that would probably be my next...
What?
Listen, who are they going to feed? You're saying they're going to feed someone into one of the creatures here?
Yeah, someone.
The delights of light are ours.
Poor Rogers. He doesn't know what he's got coming.
Does he always do that?
It affects us. Those of us who are ill occasionally get... Yeah, he pretty much has been always doing that for the past day, I'm afraid. But I can be overcome by the fits myself.
Well, Horrors, they want to sacrifice you.
Monkey dash fiduciary!
Can you stop that?
They want to put me in as...
Sibin walks the tray of goop over to like a nearby table and like sort of sets it down and kind of looks away from Horrors. Yeah.
Horrors wheels around, buzzing back in his motorized chair. So that's how it is. It's a coup, I see. Well, I'll make sure they burn. I'll scour them with water. And he's just kind of motoring back and forth.
Sibin turns, no, it's not like that. Horrors, it's not like that. We can't scour them with water.
I'm sorry. It's not like what?
You can't just kill them. There has to be another way.
Kill who? I'm sorry. Oh, I must. Like I said, I have the moments much like a young Rogers here.
Trumper, troop, stroop, waffle!
Yeah, well,
I'm getting better at dealing with that.
I don't think it's not spreading as quickly as we thought it would. I don't know what the source of this disease is, but if you can help me get out,
Yeah.
perhaps I can still be of some use. If you can help me get away.
Of course, I'd do that. I'd do
If
that
you-
before I'd put this food through this weird slot here. And
Yes, what I'll need you to find someone capable of helping me.
so, somebody like who?
Someone responsible who can get things done.
Horse.
What?
I can get things done. I'm responsible. I'm standing right here. I'm the only other person in this room between you and Rogers, and everybody else is paralyzed in a bed.
Kill them all. Kill them all straight to the sky.
I can do this. Tell me what you need. I can make it happen.
And he just motors his chair like in a small like half arc away from you.
Away from you. Oh, is that scene?
I don't know.
Thought you were my friend. Let's see.
We're gonna
2 reds.
start with a red. Everyone starts with 2 reds. Yep. We're gonna start with 1 white, 1 red in the pool. There you go. Okay, here we go. If your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your main character actually wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Everybody's going to get 1 white, 1 red. As a player, do you think the Fellowship did what was necessary to succeed at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no. As a player, do you think they did what was necessary to succeed at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so our first stone is white.
Second stone,
Red. Okay. Lose a character, lose the challenge.
No! I love it. I love it so much.
All right. So, what does this mean that we've lost the challenge and whose character is lost?
Well, the challenge was
treat the
treat
disease.
a disease afflicting the colony. So we
Ooh.
did not do that.
We've not succeeded.
We have not succeeded. But who's dead? Like that's the more the question.
I mean, I think what makes Horace could be dead.
I guess I feel like that's
Wars.
too easy. Like I feel like it should be someone else. I feel like it should be Niles maybe or
Well,
Milo.
so one option is that like there's like a counter coup. Like we didn't
Right.
defeat the disease,
Right.
but Nils like rose to some kind of power and people killed him off because he was kind of getting crazy.
Well, I love that because it's like there's this idea about feeding Jones. Feeding Horse. There's this idea about feeding Horse to one of the megafauna to harvest these antibodies, which sort of came from the Nils Clem contingent.
yeah.
Though Char
Absolutely.
obviously was stoking that fire. So I kind of like that Nils has become too much of a liability for Char, so she turns against him and like is totally into him taking the fall for wanting to overthrow
What
the sickened horse.
What if it's that the diseases has like it's in these people?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really like we didn't cure it.
Well, I mean, obviously something else could happen after the paralyzation, right?
Right.
Maybe it's just the first phase of it. It's only been like 2 days.
Yeah.
It could also, I mean, if Nils is like kind of a backstabbing homestead, this is the if Nils is bad scenario.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
definitely
pitching
bad.
it. You guys make the call. Clem runs the tests, finds out that this is something that's been artificially introduced.
Oh.
And so with that information,
That's
like
cool.
they turn on Nils, and because he's been
yes.
he's been dosing people. With
I love
stuff.
that. I think that makes perfect sense to me that he's been dosing people.
Yeah.
That seems like a Nils
And
move.
Super good.
And
But
so
Nils.
Yeah.
maybe they even just like they find this out and they stop the whatever this was going to be, like feeding Jorge or
Yeah.
Horus to the thing, and they go to find Nils and he's run out
Yeah. Nils is gone.
before.
Yeah.
Nils
So
is
we
gone.
don't know like
we don't know where he
where he
is
is,
or what he's doing.
but he's like abandoned.
He's up and run.
Right.
We
and did
don't
he
know
take
if
any
he's taken
equipment with?
anything.
Yeah. Did he take
Yeah.
anything?
We don't know what
We don't
he's
know what.
got.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. He's just gone.
The disease hasn't been treated.
That's right.
So I think that Jorge's just stuck because like they stopped it at least.
Yeah.
So he's like
Yeah.
stuck in this motorized
Stuck-
wheelchair
Stuck in the
with
chair.
occasional like psychotic lapses.
Mhm, mhm.
And Rogers and the other, like one of the others, is like just completely
Yeah. Just not.
like lost to,
Totally.
to the disease,
Rogers is done.
right? So it's not
Yep.
spreading, but it's not gone.
Right.
It's not cured. right?
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's been stopped in its tracks. It's
All
been
right.
arrested.
So colony, ready?
Yeah.
Build a colony, make it flourish. That's our goal.
Yeah.
Our final challenge here.
I think I want it to be the schism one. I feel like there has been a schism brewing in the colony anyways, so let's just fucking deal with it.
All right. Prevent
So
a
I
schism
think
in the
that's-
community.
Just deal with
I
it.
think that's the one.
So what is the background? What is going on?
The schism is between Horse and Sharbanu as sort of the main opposite poles of the schism, I think. Sibin would probably throw his lot in with Horse. I also even get the sense that Milo Beans would probably throw his lot in with Horse. So I'm guessing that there are others maybe who are more interested in Sharbanu's point of view, which is that we can't trust the people who sent us here because they want to make us sick. So we got to make our own shit here, and we have to make a new life for ourselves. That has nothing to do with people who are coming.
So it's kind of that schism too, right? Because
I guess it
your
is,
want
yeah.
is to, like uphold Earth traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is that schism between Earth traditions and new society.
But and at least from Sibin's point of view, I think after the way that Act 2 panned out, Sibin might be in sort of like a dark period right now.
Yeah.
He's totally like cast off. Like you were gonna just give up.
Yeah, well, he turned away from you, so
Yeah.
maybe you are gravitating towards my shit. Who knows? Or you're just in
Yeah.
this dark place where you don't know what's what. And I think that's sort of it. This plays out over 2 weeks. That it is something that sort of, there's a rupture and there's sort of like work sort of stops. There are these factions that are sort of forming that are sort of doing their own things, but everybody realizes they sort of need each other to really make it. So they keep having these sort of like parlay councils. And it just is like these arguments that continue on and continue on and continue
Is this
on.
also like, how has our work been progressing?
At this point, we've lost now at least 5 people who were doing work for us out of 12. So there are 7 people who are doing the work. Sharbanu doesn't really do work. She just sort of films people doing work. But I guess she has to pitch in now more. And she's happy to do that. I think she's probably filming things less. There are less things that she is actually filming, except when they're having these like parlays, I guess. That's when she's probably filming more.
If we're in the middle of tense negotiation or like tense powder keggy colony stuff, maybe it's like Sibin and Milo Beans. So we are driving a little buggy around the perimeter.
Yeah.
There is like a somewhat established perimeter at this point, and we are basically maintaining the perimeter and checking boxes. We have just left a very tense conversation about equipment. It's like one of those freaking conflicts where everybody is just pulling at a different side of the rope for no reason. So like we had to check out this buggy to like go do this perimeter check. That's a total normal thing. But Horrors and Sharbanu were at each other's throats. And it
Totally.
was like, you can't check out this thing because Sharbanu is like, well, we should be conserving fuel. And Horrors is like, well, we are mandated to perform these perimeter checks. We're like hot off the heels of a really tense conversation.
I hope we see some nice rocks on this trip.
Listen, Milo, I'm just trying to drive.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's been very tense.
I mean, I don't really know what this is about, but when me and my wife fight, we normally aren't fighting about what we're fighting about.
Doesn't make any sense, Milo. You make the least sense of it anybody.
Well, I guess maybe you'll get it when you're, have a wife or whatever.
That Sharbanu, I get it. I get it.
Get what? That she's a radical?
Well, when we got here, I had a little box. Nobody else knows. And it's got 3 things in it. And I put those 3 things in that box underneath my bunk. And I've kept it there in secret this entire time. And 2 days ago, I went out and I just hurled them in the fucking... And you know what those 3 things were?
No.
A postcard from Earth with a picture of the Eiffel Tower, a photograph of my great-great-great-grandmother on her 72nd birthday, and 2 washers that have been welded together in a sort of figure 8.
Why did you throw those things away, Sibin? Those seem like not very useful things.
They were passed down, man. They were passed
That's
down
what I mean.
by the people who indoctrinated us and set us on this course to live in this crazy whacked out world. For what reason? Some ship is going to come in and show up on this atmosphere. It's going to blot out the sun, blot out the freaking entire sky.
Yes, our people will arrive, and we must be prepared for them. We must build the landing space.
Must we? Nils was one of the highest ranked people on this colony, and he was poisoning us.
I think maybe he went insane.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Normally, you don't poison your fellow colonists. It seems like insane behavior to me.
Yeah, but you love rocks.
Rocks are really important.
How do you do it, Milo? How do you...
Well, I used to be really sick, and I didn't think I'd ever get to build with rocks again, but I get to build with some rocks, and they're beautiful. And when my wife gets here and my family gets here, they're going to make their lives on those rocks.
See?
All right.
Yes, I'll go next. Whores. Yeah, I think we'll go with our principals, right? Sibin, Charbonneau, and whores.
Perfect.
We're in command.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a small group gathered.
So the entire group?
Sibin is, yeah.
There's all 7 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, everybody's there.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine. Sibin is like serving tea,
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
as is his role.
Yeah.
It's a very
Absolutely.
traditional space that we're in right now.
Yes, and we have up on the board our timeline,
Mm-hmm.
like
Our project plan.
yeah, like our tasks to do,
Mm-hmm.
tasks in production, task complete,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, the task complete list is pretty bare. The tasks in progress is actually like stacked pretty high, but there's still a lot left. And then we look at like the flow, and there's not much time. So, Whores is got a laser pointer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with like a slide thing, it's like to run a PowerPoint style deal, and is pitching to the group his vision for how to complete this thing in time.
Using his chair, is that
He's
right?
in his chair. Basically, he's got one free hand, otherwise no mobility. Sibin, just set mine down over there.
One sugar, milk. How do you take it?
Scour the skies with their blood.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to put it right on the little tray that's attached to your...
That's fine.
Just watch out. The last time you knocked it over, just watch out.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So if we look here, make sure you get this on your cam, Charbonneau.
We're rolling. Don't worry.
I'm thinking we use pontoons, and instead of doing a concrete landing base for the main ship, we float it. It'll be much more efficient. It'll take us far less time, and half of our tasks can be removed or just put into the complete category almost immediately.
It's an interesting idea. I've been wondering, though, what's going to happen if we don't complete this on time? Like, let's just say there's some mega sharks. Yes,
Tea.
I'll take the tea. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Oh, what is this? The vanilla?
It's oolong.
Oh, oolong.
tea.
Yeah.
Obviously, even the least trained amongst us knows that failure in a Lightbearer mission, if we do not fulfill our task, means that the colony will not be able to land.
That's right. They might need to find someplace else to live. I mean, they probably wouldn't want to waste any more resources here. And, they might not even pick us up. We might just be stuck here.
They might just be stuck here.
Yes, it would most likely, you're right, they would move on, they would leave us here, they would send out
We have nowhere else to go.
a contingency Lightbearer brigade to an alternate planet. But again,
In alien territory.
yeah, there are no safely known systems. We are very close to, he clicks a slide, he shows Europa and the known civilization spread and how close we are to this other.
We are very close. I mean, this is a wonderful staging ground to make those attacks. But I'm worried. I mean, if we aren't able to complete this on time, we're going to be stuck here. Do we really want to waste our resources trying to do something we might not even be able to do? Maybe we should use those resources for something else. Make sure that we are able to survive and
You mean
prosper.
subsist? It is our task to make this world a human colony, which means bringing human buildings and humans here and making it habitable for humans.
Yes, it is quite habitable for humans already, isn't it? I mean,
Sibin, I don't get out much. What have you been seeing on your perimeter runs?
Beans and I have been doing the perimeter runs. It's okay. It's okay. We The mastodons leave us alone. We haven't seen another dragon. It's just okay. Everything's fine.
See, fine.
Yes, because we've used the tools and ingenuity and the systems of humanity to calm this place, to quell it. But we only have we've scratched a fingernail, a tiny little patch. We're no more than a footprint on this entire moon.
It's true. That's very true. And I'm just, will that footprint grow? I guess that's the real question. Looking at your plan, there's a lot of risks involved. And
Can you just come out and say it? Can everybody just come out and say it? You want to give up. Charbonneau wants to give up. She wants to turn it all around. Cancel everything we've done. Call off the generation ship. Let everybody else die. And you don't even realize what's going on outside. You haven't been outside in the last 3 weeks.
I can't go outside.
You can't
Not in
go
my
outside.
condition.
Wheel your little... You had an option. You had a choice. And you choose to limit yourself to staying in here, doing what you're doing, and you won't even come out and say that you're giving up on building this base, giving up on making a foundation. Can everybody just speak plainly right now?
I'll burn the sky. I'll send you all into the ash. I'll scour with the water.
And he spills the tea.
No!
Sibin, don't you understand? You're our future. Don't you understand? You are the person who is going to be leading this society. Don't you get it? What the opportunity we have to create something wonderful and beautiful here. Something that will allow those who arrive to make their own choice. Do they really want to come down here and perpetuate war? Or do they want to come down here and create beautiful Eden? Look how gorgeous it is here. Sure, there are some problems, there's some issues, but no one's getting sick. That wasn't from here. That was from the humans. The humans made us sick.
Sibin, you are the youngest, it is true. You perhaps do have an important choice to make. Will you let the legacy of which you are the young burning flare of, the youthful fire at the heart of Lightbearer, go out and the spread of humanity perish with it? Will you allow that to happen, Sibin?
Or will you be a leader who leads his people into a golden age of unknown adventure, unknown exploration, the ability to create what you want?
Untethered from your past.
We'll create new traditions.
Lost. You will make a choice.
We all need to make a choice.
Sibin is still holding his tray of tea. His head has been on a swivel looking back and forth between Charbonneau and Hors. He looks right at Hors, drops the tray of tea, and turns slowly away from him and walks out of the command center.
Oh, good scene. Okay, our third and final scene of this challenge. Here's where we are. Everyone's in the scene. It's Charbonneau, Sibin, Horse. We're like getting attacked by 2 dragons. Like, it is happening. They are charging our perimeters. They're almost going to break through. It seems like there's something really wrong with the decaying skull of their fellow dragon that we have on display here. Maybe there's some intelligence that we didn't actually realize that they had. Who knows what is going on? But 2 of them have showed up, and they are trying to despoil and destroy our outpost. We're all dealing with this. I'm not sure. Do you think Horace would come outside for something like this?
Yeah,
Or-
I think so.
Okay, so we're all outside.
Something
then.
draws him outside.
Yes, we're all outside as these creatures basically are throwing their weight.
These giant
I
monsters.
mean, the only thing I can think of is that we've gone like Iron Dome style, and we have like energy, like energy, like sort of bars or whatever, like a force field that's sort of like.
Yeah.
Like keeping them out so we can see them through like the force
We call
fields,
it the
right?
mosquito net.
Yeah, the mosquito net. Exactly. We have the net up, the mosquito net up. And I mean, because it usually does just zap or vaporize these
Right.
bugs that sort of were so annoying. Yeah, now they're like pressing in on it and they're crying and roaring because they're burning as they're touching this stuff. The force field rather. But it's going to, I mean, like,
The
we don't.
generators
The
are
generator's going to
smoking,
overheat.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm yelling, deploy the cannons! Horse, what are you doing out here? Activate the cannons!
I'm here to watch our last stand.
Charbonneau, Clem Yoshi is dead.
Not Yoshi!
One of the monsters threw a boulder, came through the mosquito net and crushed her. She's dead.
All right.
Boy, use the tools of man to crush these fleshy beasts. Do it.
Or
Man the cannons.
yes, yeah, or the tools of man, meaning Niels's disease. Let's pump them full of the disease. Poison them all. Poison them.
We don't know that this will work. Just man the cannons, boy.
Where are the cannons?
Command center.
I point over there.
And there are these two like artillery style cannons with like long barrels that are sort of like set into the ground of the bunker.
There's like a little cockpit
Yep.
you have to go get in.
Sibin sort of like takes 2 steps towards the cannons. Is like, why are we doing this?
For survival, boy.
That's true. We must survive.
Once we kill these 2, what then?
Then the rest.
Probably killing the rest. Yes.
Then we pave this whole planet.
No. We keep it as it is.
We pave the sky just like on Earth so we can drive on it.
Far in the distance, one of the dragons hurls itself against the mosquito net. It's like,
Take some responsibility, boy, for once in your life.
have Sharbanu do it.
You two are worth nothing. And she turns and seems to be rushing to complete her plan to try and get this poison to inject into them.
It won't happen in time. She could kill us all. Who knows what could happen with that disease? I'll stop her.
Motoring slowly after.
At this moment, Sibin sort of goes into a total monologue. Trust a madman or forfeit everything we've come here for. Connect to Earth or start something new. Man, we've never been in a pickle like this before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. All righty.
No.
Yeah. That's good.
So,
No.
all right, gang, this is it.
This is it.
The little wheelchair after.
This decides the entire quest.
Yep.
If we fail now, the
Yep.
quest is lost.
Yep.
So we're going to start with 1 red, 1 white, 1 for each.
Right.
Success, 1 for each failure.
And then we do 2
Right.
reds first.
Everyone takes 2, yeah. Ready? If your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your main character actually wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones. Otherwise, hold no stones.
3, 2, 1, contact.
So now we do the 1 red, 1 white. As a player, do you think the Fellowship succeeded at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no. This will decide the entire quest, not just this challenge.
2, 1, show.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
on. We've been doing good.
So now we're going to pull stones from the thing.
Oh, that's definitely
That's
bad.
bad.
That's
We
definitely
lose.
bad.
Someone dies and we lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah. What is it?
White, red. Lose 1 character and lose the
Yeah,
challenge.
just like last time.
No.
So what is the outcome of this challenge specifically?
We do not prevent the schism in the community.
Mhm.
So there is a schism that is now very, very specifically there. It's there. We break up. Like the community breaks up. We go our separate ways. I don't know who goes with who.
Well, how about this? Did the things like break through in that last scene, do you think?
No, I think they were defeated.
I think this is what happened.
Mm.
So Sharbanu and Horrors had 2 different ways of dealing with the beast, right? You were like, you're gonna go to the cannons
Yeah.
and you're gonna go to the
poison.
right? But what neither of you saw was that the generators were gonna blow no matter what.
Right.
And Sibin was left standing, saw the generators were gonna blow, and like threw himself onto the generator, like pull the switch or like there was something like maybe he like shoved a rock
Got it.
into the
I love it.
generator.
Yeah.
And it saved the generator from blowing, but Sibin got fried.
Yep, electrocuted to death. So Sibin dies, unfortunately. Because he is such a linchpin for us, I think, in so many ways. Like, we were like, he is the future.
You are the
Like,
future.
yeah, we sort of like, oh, fuck. Like, we can't, there's no way for us to come together now. He was almost our shared sort of point in some ways. And so we're we're fractured. So yeah, Sibin dies.
Most of you, like most of the crew, the ones who are like fully ambulatory,
Yeah.
go out into the woods.
Yeah.
And just go native.
Yeah.
maybe.
Except for Milo Beans, who stays with you.
So with Milo's help, I think the other crew puts puts the flotilla launch pad thing to task, like at least
Oh, yeah.
builds that and puts it
Yeah.
out there. But now it was tight. I would pitch that the colony ship descends.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, I agree. It
towards
arrives.
the pad.
It arrives.
And it's like Horus is like waving to it. People are looking out the portholes, like Milo's waving to his family, all that stuff.
Mm.
Yep.
And that's when what could only be described as a freshwater orca
Mm.
Yes.
comes up out of
Yeah.
the lake
Yeah.
and swallows the ship.
Yep.
And then sinks back down below the surface.
The survivors join the people who went native.
Those who aren't washed away.
Yeah, they aren't destroyed, yes.
Milo Beans builds like a rock.
Oh,
Like
rock
Aaron.
monument.
Yeah.
Rock
He
monument
carries
to the
down-
rock
he
gods.
carries a rock that he calls his wife.
His wife.
Oh man.
He grows some beans.
So this is going to be, we've done our 3 challenges. That's all gone away. Quest is over. We've failed. Our characters live on, some of them anyway.
Mm.
So this is what the epilogue is. We're going to briefly narrate our main character's life after the quest.
Charbonneau's epilogue is that she becomes the chieftain of her people. She's obviously their leader, is able to create this sort of native society, though they do a lot of scavenging of the technology that's sort of been left behind or washes up on the shore of the estuary. There were some survivors, very small amount of them. Some of them joined her and her people. I get the sense that there continues to be this enmity between her people and any other people who might be here. They sort of develop this antagonistic relationship. I am thinking of Charbonneau and her people almost as like the jungle people, like the scary people that their others tell like bedtime stories about to scare their children, and like they're savages out there or whatever. Like it's really terrible stories that are told about them. When in fact Charbonneau really has attempted to create this very progressive society. There's like they communally raise their children. Like there's like no marriage. Like it's a very sort of progressive, open, sort of free love society. Devote themselves to arts and to philosophy. But at the same time, they descend further and further into savagery because they don't have the trappings of civilization. I think that at the end of Charbonneau's life, her camera is handed down to the next chiefess who continues the legacy.
Horus, his last sort of task now is he wants to try and find the colony ship.
Mm.
So he mounts expeditions. Mostly he sends people on expeditions using the resources of the base. They kind of make a smaller perimeter, shelter as much as they can, using the corpses of the 2 other dragons.
Things.
But he's mostly a logistics man at this point. And it's a couple decades. He's well into his 70s by the time that they find embedded in the riverbed, having passed through the whale, using the beacons from the colony ship, they find some remains of the ship.
Yeah.
And they are able to pull it up from the depths and get to what he wants to find, the radio transponder, so he
Yeah.
can send
Mm.
information back about the mission.
Mm.
And he sends the code that it was not a successful colony launch, that their position is compromised, and this moon should be obliterated.
Yep. Yep. So it can't be used against them.
And the mission and that signal travels for 500 years back to Earth.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I think Sibin's legacy, while Horus dragged the colony ship out of the river, chunk of the colony ship fell off in that sort of dragging. And it was a chunk that actually said Lightbearer-Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
And it drifted a little bit ways deeper into the river, sort of into like a little chunk of the river where it rounds a bend where it's actually very deep and rocky. This little sheet of, this like futuristic metal sort of cuts into the sand of the riverbed, falls back, and as it does, it pushes out this little vent of water that moves some of the silt on the riverbed, revealing a postcard from Earth.
No.
A little portrait of a grandmother at 75 and a washer welded to another washer in the shape of a figure eight.
With that, our story ends. We will return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Instagram at @board_ghost. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho. You can find my media review podcast at New to You Show. You can find my book club podcast at woundandstab.com. Cam, where can people find you?
Hey, Board Ghost, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram and my own website at Berlingsbeard, Berlings Beard. I am a for-hire DM in the New York City area. I also do some streaming on Twitch. Come play some D&D with me. Would love to game with you.
And I am Dalton Gray. I'm a theater artist and game designer. You can't find me many places. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Can't really talk about much of it. But if you're in the New York area, please come out and play. It'll be on July 21st in Brooklyn, New York. It's a day of street games where New York City and the Dumbo Archway Plaza gets transformed into a playground.
To learn more about the players and engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. You can go to patreon.com/boardghost if you want to collaborate and help us making the show. There are some exclusive videos, access to the art, and you can get full episodes early if you are collaborating and patronizing us on Patreon. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at Board Ghost World on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal. Please take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they're consumed, the truer they become.
Dying down